So just create a new layer here. I just want to sample the color of this existing dirt, this kind of orange, red, brown stuff. And yeah, create a new layer and fill with that color. Something like that, maybe a little bit more desaturated. Create a clipping mask here, just, and play with the saturation on the lightings. But yeah, I'm looking for something like that. Now we can select the occlusion layer, Control A to select all. Now go to the channel mask, create a new alpha mask, and paste all the information. And now Control click just to select the white areas, Yep. Go back to our dirt layer and create a layer mask. And of course, this needs to be inverted, right? Because now we are using the white color, so we want to use the occlusion color, the black color, so you need to invert this layer. All right, so yeah, this is our dirt. Probably this is too much, and probably we have to, we need to decrease a little bit the opacity. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's working fine just if we desaturate this a little bit, and yeah, that's more or less fine. Just play with the controls. I think it's great. What do you think? Just let me put this in a new layer called dirt. That's the difference. I think it's kind of cool. What do you think? Yeah, I think it's working better. Yeah, I think it's great. Also here in the plastic stuff, in the screen protector, it's looking really nice. Also, yeah, but maybe it's too much. So play with opacity. Yeah, something like that. 50, 60, 75. Duplicate the color layer. Yeah, you can merge this, and we have this information here and the dirt information on top of this layer. So you can desaturate this, and we have something like that. Okay, just make a selection here. Okay. I always like to create, layers in a non-destructive way, so we can decrease this a little bit. The thing about the specular is that you have to play with high contrast stuff, right? The difference between blacks and whites should be notorious. We want high contrast maps when we work on specular maps. So we want really uh, black areas and really white areas as well. So just play with the levels here. Okay, something like that. As you can see, all the black areas is where the dirt is placed. That means that the dirt areas won't be reflective at all, or at least they will be less reflective than the plastic areas, which are more clean. Yeah, that's the good thing about having all the maps in the same PSD file, that you can check easily the difference between the color map and the specular map, and where black or white areas should be placed. Okay, that's pretty much what we want here. Yeah, I'm just thinking about this plastic thing. Just let me select this. Quick selection. And in the top as well. I can find the origin. Okay, and we can create another levels or curves or whatever, and just play with intensity. Okay, maybe the contrast here won't be too high because the difference between the tonal difference between the whole the different areas of the piece are are not too different, so it's not gonna be something like that, but won't be too high like the front panel plastic. Yeah, something like that is better, I think. Yeah, be careful with the white areas because the difference between black and white here maybe is too much accordingly to the surface properties. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm just wondering now about the metal pieces. I will try also to have a good contrast here because yeah, we have a lot of black areas in the painted metal, so we will try to reveal that in the specular map. Okay, yeah, it's getting shape. Yeah, something like that. Maybe we need more white areas because this metal is reflective, but it's not super reflective. Okay, something like that. I think is would be working fine. And what about the dirt? Well, we need to fill this layer with black because you don't want to see reflective information in the dirt areas because they are covered by dust or dirt or whatever. Okay, so something like that would be great, I think. Yeah, I think this specular is good enough. Anyways, this is always like going back and forward because we need to test the displacement during the shading process, during the look development. Just duplicate the specular layer, rename it as bump, and okay, we can apply again the high pass filter here. High pass. Well, this is great because as you can see, we keep all the awesome detail which we have here in the specular map and in the BAM in the color map as well. I think it's working great. You can play with the radius, but just be careful. We don't want a lot of information because we don't want to create noise which could cause some kind of flickering or whatever, so just be smart with this. Okay, I think it's working fine. Just let me check the plastic piece in the top. Well, you can see the scratches, they are awesome. I'm just a little bit worried about some areas here in the plastic, but and I think that would be fine. We can remove all the labels layers. We will check this later. And here in the metal it's working fine as well. All right. Okay, great. I just want to duplicate this because I want to have more control in the plastic pieces. So I'm going to apply the different high pass filter in these areas. So just let me check this. Yeah, all the high pass. Maybe I need to increase the radius to to keep more detail. Uh, no, I think yeah, maybe we can duplicate this. Combine the layers, merge the layers, and here play with the labels, sorry. Um, First of all, auto labels, and now play with it, something like that. I just want to increase the the difference between different areas of the surface. So just let me desaturate this, right? Um, Maybe now it's working better. Yeah, definitely it's working better now. You can see more detail, right, over the whole surfaces. Yeah, of course. Yeah, great. All right, you can remove the dirt layer. We don't need it. I think, yeah, I think it's working great. Can you see all the detail over the whole surface? It's great. It's amazing. Okay. Yeah, this is awesome. Okay, that's great. Okay, we can create a layer mask here because yeah, it's fine. So just save this TIFF and just rename it as 1004. Yeah, I think this boom map is gonna be working extremely well in the rendering process. We will check this later, but I think it's gonna be awesome. Okay, the realism of this asset. So I have exported here an OBJ from Maya inside this folder called for Matbox. You can use Matbox or another 3D painting sculpting program like ZBrush. So I export this and I call the thing box.obj. I only export the metal box because I just want to apply displacement map to this object, to this specific object. I don't want to apply displacement map to the control wheels, the buttons, and the front panel or whatever, just to this metal box thing. So open Matbox, ZBrush, 3D code, whatever. Okay, just opening here Matbox in the background. Okay, and here click open and just select. Just let me copy the path. Just select here the box obj file. Okay, just loading. Okay, I think my Matbox is like, come on. Yep, it's working now. Yep. All right, just select the box obj file. Okay, and well, as you can see, we have here just the metal box. All right, just a metal box. My plan is, to break a little bit the corners to make it more real. Some small bunches or some small here, uh, things that happens in the real life, like small hits or small things in the in some of the corners and some areas, some parts of the surface. So I just want to open here the bump. The thing is, if you have a good boom map 16 bits, you can use this as a displacement base. Sometimes it works fine, sometimes doesn't work fine. Just call this something like temp because I want to delete this map later on, but because I'm just using this as a work in progress inside Mapbox. Okay, you will see it right now. Okay, so here we can subdivide this. Just Shift D, you already know that. Okay, like 3 or 4 levels would be enough. Okay, 2 million polys there. Just let me check if everything is working fine. The viewport is great. Okay, I don't have a really powerful computer here. I just have a laptop, but okay. Okay, so this thing for me is awesome in Mapbox, and is the option sculpt model using displacement maps, because if you have a really nice bump, a really nice color map with 16 bits color information, you can use this as a base. So click here, select the mesh. In this case we only have one mesh, this polymesh thingy, and select the displacement map, and we're gonna select the temp map which we exported from Photoshop. Click and go, and okay, this is too much. Obviously we can work with the opacity map, something like 20, something like that. Okay, so you can see small detail here, which is really nice. Yeah, but I know maybe I don't like the noisy thing, so probably I just want to work now with a flattened brush, just to work a little bit on the borders, just decrease the size image. Okay, so this thing about using a bump as a displacement map is really good. I always use this, but probably works better when you're working on characters, because here we have a really thin surface, and probably that we have a problem with the displacement bound, because everything is like you know, scaled up a little bit. And yeah, in this case I want to keep these thin borders that we have here, because they are looking great. But if you're working in a character, you can use this bump map as a displacement map and paint over that, because works great, you know, with the pores, with the scar face, with the small skin details that you can have in the diffuse and boom map. So convert the boom or the color map to grayscale, and just import it here in Mapbox as a displacement map and work on top of this map. But here in this case, with these small pieces, I prefer to start again from scratch and just paint in the corners some kind of irregular things. So just here you can work with the flatten or with the scrape brushes, just to do something like this, something really subtle, but something which will probably give us a small, you know, another degree of realism, another grade of realism, sorry. Yeah, something like that. Just, I mean, this is not cartoon, so just be careful, because we don't want to create some exaggeration things. So yeah, something like that. I think it's working really good. Okay, just something subtle. Okay, yeah, that kind of things, in my opinion, these tiny details are the most important things, because yeah, you can have a lot of, you know, a lot of small details to create more realistic renders and more realistic assets. Realism is always in the small details, in tiny details. I don't know, we can spend like 5 or 10 minutes working on this map, and for sure would be a great advantage during the rendering process because we will have a great realism here. Okay, that's great. Just small things, just a little bit here, a little bit there, just small hits, small, things. Okay, something like that, something, just in the borders, just to create this kind of age time. Yeah, this is great. I think this is great. Just to break a little bit these extremely perfect lines, these perfect borders. Okay, so you can play now with the opacity. Maybe something like, yeah, I think it's fine. Okay, I just want to, to paint these small things here, just in the, in the corners. Doesn't make sense probably to paint this in the center of the object. Okay, so I just want to use again this diffuse map again on top, probably just to check if I can, keep some of these metal properties like this in and out noise. Just play with a really small values. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Can you see that? I think it's working really fine. Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, this is working great. Yeah, I think this is working absolutely great. Yeah, we have both layers. The the first one with big punches with hits, and the second one with the tiny small things. Oh yeah, that's great. Okay, okay, I think this is great. Well, in my opinion, this displacement is good enough for that kind of assets. So we are ready to extract the texture displacement. Just click on texture displacement map. Okay, source model should be level 4. Okay. Well, in this case, we are using regular displacement map. We are not using vector displacement map because it doesn't make sense for that kind of tiny detail. But I think this is good enough. Okay, so target model should be level O. We are not exporting any kind of geometry. We are just exporting texture maps, displacement information. We never export, geometry in lower levels. Okay. Here, I usually choose closest to target model, and I try something like 0.01. And if this is good, I'll keep it. If not, I will try another levels and another value. Sorry, but you need to check. You need to test. You need to try different things and just find the best solution. I don't want to preview this as a bump, and just the output should be 16 bits diff. All right. Okay, we can call this displacement, and I will save it in the desktop just for now. Click on start, extract, sorry, and once extracted, just check the map in Photoshop. So, okay. Alright, so it's looking something like that. It's looking strange in the bottom, but we're not using this because these are the interior faces. But it's looking much better here. Okay, I think we have a really nice displacement information here. Of course, we need to test this in the shader, but we will do it later. Okay, that's great. Yeah, I think it's working pretty well. Okay, so save the Matbox file. Okay, and we can close Matbox for now. Just let me first of all copy this, cut this file, paste it here, and use the correct naming convention here, which should be something like displacement and UDIM 1002